Привет всем! Welcome to this week's video. We're going to be talking about figures and specifically how they incorporate with the vehicle. We built the vehicle, the Typhoon-VDV. Now, the doors are actually loose. I can open them as such, both of them as well. Now, I've got two figures here. One of them was inside the review that I did of the VDV, both from live resin. This video is going to be about the figure painting, which is one thing, but really the most important aspect is to get these figures to combine naturally with the vehicle. They are in very specific poses, perched on the step of the vehicle, looking out into the distance. One of them's got binoculars, one of them hasn't. What I need to do is assemble the figures fully and see how they interact with the vehicle, i.e., when they're posed with the vehicle, do their hands reach the doors? Are the feet on the steps? We need that natural interaction with the vehicle, or else they won't simply work. So I've got two figures. I'll only be using one. However, I'm going to assemble both of them in the next step, and then we'll talk about the trial fitting. Okay, so we assembled the figures, did a bit of trial fitting, found out that one of the figures fits pretty damn good actually. His hand wraps around the door, looks pretty good. It's the guy with the binoculars, by the way, him. He's going to work out as the perfect figure fit. The other guy didn't. His feet wouldn't touch the step or the inside of the interior, just the way it works out. Hopefully I can use him as something else. However, I'm still going to paint him in this exercise. By the way, these are just dry fit. All I've done is just attach the heads with a bit of Patafix. So what we're going to do now is mount the figures, and then we'll go on to priming them, which I'll just explain now. Yeah, so once we get these figures mounted, you may have noticed as well, we've got all these, they've got the chest rigs, they've got the web gear on, and there's a lot of depth inside the creases of the material, etc. So we're going to give them a primer coat. We're going to use Mr. Surfacer. We use black and brown. We'll make a mixture between them. It's going to be a dark shade. And just basically the same as our tanks, the same sort of principle applies. I want to get that primer into all the deepest recesses. I don't want to see any bare resin. And of course, as well, because they are resin figures, they absolutely do require a primer. We need the paint to stick to it. So let's fire away with that. Okay, the nice easy stuff is done, the assembly, the priming. It's time to deal with the meat and gravy of it, this camo pattern. Okay, now one thing with the live resin is, with the boxes, there's no depiction of any painting. So sometimes you get nice box art with the painting. Instead, all you've got is the indication. In this case, there's actually, we're dealing with two types of uniforms. Fortunately, the figures that I've got are a matching set. Those are in something that they call a reversible camo field uniform. Now, a bit more on that later. And then the other guy, the guy who doesn't fit, he's in a lot lighter garb. I think this is called Pixelka, his uniform. I've been doing my research, as usual. Basically, Russian army has changed, like all the other armies, to digital camouflage. And probably some of you will know the old Flora uniforms. That's now being replaced now in Russia with the Pixelka as their general form of camouflage for their uniform, for their services. And of course, digital camo uniforms are an absolute pig to paint. All we can do is representation, usually, or ignore it. Is one of them. In this is a, by the way, this is a Ammo MIG figure painting set for the Flora pattern. We won't be painting Flora, but there's some really nice box art that I'll show you. However, the colours still should be good in some cases. So, anyways, these figures, the figures that will be the main ones for the VDV, They describe it on the box as a reversible camouflage suit version. So actually what that suit is called a SH122 SH122 suit, which is just a couple of numbers, but the actual system is called Ratnik. Ratnik roughly translates to warrior. So they've got like a warrior system. So the plate carrier, the load carrier, the boots, the elbow pads, that reversible suit, all that web gear, it's all in this system called Ratnik, yeah, including the helmet as well. And I found out some things as well. I was wondering what devices I'd mounted on the helmets, and that's an FS112 flashlight, and I've probably put them on the wrong way around. Anyways, that's the way it's worked out. Anyway, I think they could be turned around because there's actually a little swivel mount on the helmet that they can display lights behind them or a torch beaming forward. Anyways, we need to talk about this camo. So, obviously, very difficult to paint. I'm going to try this. This is from Live Resin. They've got a camouflage decal set. There's two types that they actually produced, yeah. They did a brown and a light green. I've got the brown one because I think the brown's going to create some great contrast. Now, I've been showing you some pictures as well of this Ratnik system, and as you can see, the reversible camouflage suit contrasts with the web gear. The web gear tends to be green, so I'm trying to think now in terms of how do I get these, when do I apply these decals, which parts do I need to paint, and otherwise. So, formulating a plan, this is what I'm going to do. Basically, I'm going to spray green. I'll work out the colour in a little while. I'll do some colour matching for the web gear, basically. And then the other areas I don't really need to worry about too much. And then we're going to have a go at applying this camouflage decal system from Live Resin. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. There's a few problems. I've done this before. I think I got a set a really long time ago for oak leaf camo for some German soldiers. So there's a few things to know about using decals for camouflage. One is trying to get them conform. You need a lot of this decal softener and set solution, yeah, and a hairdryer as well really comes in useful. The other thing is to chop the pieces quite small, and sometimes it's quite difficult to make it fit because of all the folds. But we'll deal with all that and sort of let's get on with it and see how it looks, okay? So that little segment actually took, I'm not joking, it took 5 days. It was really, really long time. Incredible seeing that basically we only applied that camo deco just to the arms and the legs of these figures. This is what I found out basically. First of all, the decal itself is absolutely amazing. It's really thin, and of course the print quality is amazing, you know, to get all that very fine printing. I can't even imagine how they do it. It's amazing. But this is the situation because of all the folds of the material and the, you know, the complexity of the joins of the figure, like the anatomy of the arms and the elbows. What I had to do, you probably saw it, was make like literally hundreds of tiny, small little decals to place on. If I placed on a big decal, I could do it in some places. I mean, big is 3mm by 3mm. I was able to cover some areas, but it was trying to get it to conform. So the main weapons were to use this strong mark fit and also a hairdryer to push it in. And then also a toothpick as well to push them into the folds. So what do I think? I think the camo looks amazing, but I haven't got out of this yet so far. The actual plate carrier and the chest rigs also have a digital camo pattern, and I need to paint them. I need to paint the details as well. So we need to create a rendition of digital camo on the remaining sort of green based web gear. Okay, so next stage, and as explained, we need to do the digital type camo on the chest plate, on the chest rig, etc. So actually I've done one of them off camera and I did a bit of experimentation, and what I decided to do was actually use very small pieces of sponge and a tweezer to try and add the little dots of colour just on the chest rig. It sort of works. I'm going to show you obviously, but I just thought that might be, you know, worth trying because the digital pattern is very small, very intricate. Of course, as well, we're going to paint up a little bit of shading onto the chest rigs because the dominant colour is going to be green. So I add a bit of highlights, and we have to add some shadows, and also we'll do some lining. So I'll get on and show you now. We're going to be using acrylic paint. So I've got a range of colours, basically, normal acrylics and fine brushes. So let's crack on. Okay, let's just do a little recap because we pushed quite far forward in that last segment. The flesh tone's done, the overall construction of the figure's done. The big step, the big game changer was applying the matte varnish. The matte varnish killed the reflectivity of the decal. I was a bit concerned about that, the way that it looked, but once we applied the flat varnish, and then also we did a brown glazing to add some shading into that camo, I think they look pretty good. Obviously, I had a go at replicating the digital type camo on the web gear, the plate carrier. It looks okay. I mean, it's not fantastic, but these are diorama figures, so you can also make your comments, of course, because that's what you're there for. Had comments as well that the actual the colours of that camo isn't correct. I think they've done a really good job live resin, to be honest. I think that's a pretty good representation of the colours. They look pretty good to me. Now, what do we need to do now? Okay, because we've come to the final stages. Well, one figure has the binocular to attach, and then what we'll do is fit him into the vehicle to get that final look, because that was what this video is about, combining the figure and the vehicle. Now, the other figure, he's carrying his Aftermath, his AK, and it's slung on the back, on his back, with the barrel facing forward into his hand. So we need to get that positioned properly. And the sling of the weapon, half of it's molded on, but the front part is not. So to get the front part of the sling, we need to fabricate it. And what I've got is something called play paper from Tammy. It's very, very thin styrene. So what we'll do, we'll fabricate out a weapon strap, see if that works. If not, I'll use tape or something like that and get that weapon fitted, and then we can do a wrap up. Also, a better mention now as well, the third figure, I said I was going to paint him. Obviously, I lied. I haven't been able to paint him because I ran out of time. But instead, what I'm going to do is, obviously, I want to complete him at some stage. I'm going to get some more camo sheets. I'll get the Pixelka sheet, and we'll do him for another M-wrap in the future at some point. So let's crack on again. No, so, what resultat? Okay, we've finished at last, okay? Well, on the figures anyway. So, what do I think? I think, okay, to be honest, I'm glad that I did the experiment with the live resin decal. I think the result is okay. Yeah, I did change my plan from that plastic styrene, the play paper. I forgot one thing, a very important aspect. In order to make it bend round curves and things, you need to add some liquid cement. If I did that, it would have totally spoiled the paint job. So instead, we used the tape. It looks okay in terms of a sling. Had a little bit of trouble fitting the weapons, but it looks okay generally. That guy, I'm so happy with his fit in the VDV Typhoon. He looks great. It sets the scene for the vignette. The vignette's next week. So basically, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed. this week's episode. Hope you got something out of this. Just to leave a closing thought for you guys. Yeah, so these figures, my result, basically, okay, standalone figures, no, they just don't cut it at all. I'm not a figure painter. Why am I not a figure painter? It's like everything. It's like golf. It's like tennis. It's like football. And modeling is exactly the same. It takes lots and lots of practice. That's the way you get better. You don't get better from watching me or other YouTubers. Believe me, there's so many bluffers out there trying to make kits, failing all the time, pretending that they're good. Don't listen to them. Just practice yourselves, guys. That's my big tip for you. So like with the figures, basically, if we paint lots and lots of them, we get better and better. Also, the more time we put in, we get the better results. So it was a week's work to do these two figures, and we've got okay sort of results. So anyways, that's me. That's the bear. I'm out of here. No paka i shishliva.